Welcome to Voices for Impact, the podcast. Started during the COVID-19 pandemic and made in Syracuse, Voices for Impact is full of conversations with thought leaders from around the world that have made significant accomplishments in their lives and have gone through their own challenges, but have made it through those adversities and made positive impacts through their work. I'm your host, Danielle Mensing, and as a fundraiser for a nonprofit, I believe the most valuable tool you can give yourself is making a positive impact on others and your community. Every conversation is going to give you tools and tactics from entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, and change makers that will encourage you to develop a growth mindset and reimagine how you can find your purpose. Now let's get started. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Voices for Impact. My name is Danielle Mensing, founder of Voices for Impact, and today I am chatting with Amber Howland. Amber is a runner located in Syracuse, New York, with local running races being postponed and canceled this year. She signed up for the One New York virtual challenge to run a 1,000K over the course of the next 108 days. That is just over 621 miles, averaging 44 miles per week and about 6 miles per day, showcasing local small businesses along the way on social media. So she set out with a goal to raise over 10,000 by August 31st. You can follow her journey to 1,000K on Instagram at Amber M. Howland and her Facebook. And you can also read more about her fundraising efforts at amberhowland.com. Thank you so much for having a conversation with me today.
Thanks so much, Danielle. It's so great to finally meet you.
meet you as well. It's so great. So tell me a bit about what made you decide to run to raise money for charity, specifically the Food Bank of Central New York.
Sure. So this whole campaign started with quarantine, and I know that's like the dreaded word and you don't want to talk about it, but that is where this whole journey started. So I'm a social person by nature. I like to go out and be around my friends and be outside of my house. So when all of the races started shutting down and things were really, there wasn't much going on around May time, I jumped on board with the One New York Virtual Challenge. So the One New York Virtual Challenge is kind of a sister or brother of the Syracuse Half Marathon and those type of races. So what actually got my brain going about it was the Mountain Goat was canceled. So I thought, well, the Mountain Goat's canceled. I'm going to go run 10 miles myself. And that was just my own personal thing that I had. Mm-hmm. And then the One New York Virtual Challenge came on. I said, well, this is a little bit more organized. I don't need to run 10 miles every day. And this will keep me busy for the next 108 days if I spread it out. So quick math gave me 6 miles a day. And I just set out for that personal goal, completely selfish of myself. And then that evening I was talking to my sister about it at her dining room table. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if, since I have to run over 108 days, would it be cool if I showcase small businesses? Because, just thinking about Coleman's on Tip Hill or other, bars and restaurants downtown and how they're adjusting and their hours with takeout, I thought I could be like a running billboard for small businesses. So then that just kind of evolved into a bigger conversation about charity and a couple other conversations I had with friends. And we immediately thought of the food bank and got involved with them. So it
awesome.
Started as a small idea and really snowballed into something much bigger within 3 days.
That's so awesome how it started out with just you love running, and then the more you were thinking about it, is like, what can I do during this time? You're seeing all these local businesses struggling, to be so selfless in that thinking to how can I do my part to help a local charity and also help local businesses. What other local businesses have you connected with during this time?
Oh, there's so many. So we've showcased over 80 different small businesses so far. And so, just to name some of the popular ones were like Glazed and Confused, Salt City Coffee, Cafe Kubal. I was with Lot One Distillery yesterday. I was out in Cato. So Mad Moose Designs actually designed my own logo and got me a tank top to wear so I could
That's
run
awesome.
and advertise the campaign as I was going along. It was really amazing reaching out to, at the beginning, I just sent this really long email to small business owners that had a million other things to do than read my email. And I just said, this is my vision. And I understand you have a lot going on. If you want to jump on board, great. If not, that's fine. And everyone always asks, like, well, who said no? And no one said no. It's one of those things that kind of gives you chills, and actually just gave me a little bit of a chill, because in the worst of times, you don't realize how connected people are. And one conversation led to another conversation that led me to another email address or a different contact. And everyone was saying, oh, I've heard about this from so-and-so. So it really, like I said, snowball, and I'll probably say that again, but it really did snowball into this huge effect in this movement that happened just by sending out one email, and then it just became something bigger.
That's so exciting. So give me some advice too. What advice do you have for others on overcoming challenges? You're a runner. What is some advice you could take from your running experiences on that?
So I want to go about this two separate ways. Self-motivation has not been my forte. I'm not a 6 a.m. jump out of bed, ready to hit the road type of person. And that's something I really had to train myself to do, especially with when quarantine happened. I lost all sense of time. I was one of those person that was like, why is it 3 a.m. and I'm not tired? And why am I sleeping till noon? That's not me. So I had to put myself on a strict schedule. But the motivation and knowing that I owed something, good faith, owed something to a small business. I had made promises to people that I needed to keep. That was my motivator. To see the campaign continue on and be as successful as it was, was something that motivated me every day. And then from another part of it is, if I knew on day one what today would feel like at the end of the campaign, I would be a lot more confident in the beginning. So trust what you're doing. That was something, if I could go back and do day one again, I wouldn't, be super overwhelmed and maybe cry and have a moment of complete freak out. Because that day I thought, I am in over my head. I've never proved to anyone that I could do something like this, so I have no grounds to say that I can do this. And it was one of the hottest days of the entire campaign, and I was out running 6 miles. I was like, there's no chance I'm going to be able to do this, but I told the food bank I would, and this is what's going to happen. But now we're here on the end of the campaign, and I just wish I could channel all of this energy in this like proud moment that I can look at the community and say, look what we did, and like tell that girl on day one that it's going to be okay.
I know, right? It's so hard when you're just starting something to trust the process. But yeah, if you can just go back to your 30-day younger self and say, hey, it's going to work out and it's going to make a difference. And yeah, I totally agree with that. So main message is trust your process.
Yes. And people tell you that all the time, and you're like, right, okay. But now I'm finally the person, I give great advice, but I'm not great at taking it. So now I'm like starting to see that come back, and it really, it's motivating, and it makes me even more proud of what we've done.
Now, why did you decide to raise money for the Food Bank of Central New York specifically?
Yeah, so when I thought about tying in a charity, I thought, there's a bunch of different charities that I could, either large or small, I could keep it local. My main objective was to keep it local. And something I couldn't kind of get out of my brain was, with schools closing down, that especially kids, they look to school lunches and school breakfasts and for that type of nutrition. And I knew that the food bank, which was such an organized, well-oiled machine here in Central New York anyway, I could make a phone call and let them know what I was doing. And I felt like I would have the support of of the food bank. And so the great thing about the setup with the connection of me and the food bank was that they gave me my own dedicated line. So when you donate at amberhowland.com, that money goes directly to their PayPal account. So I don't touch the money. It doesn't go through a GoFundMe or anything like that. So it's a direct line, and making sure that all the money that is donated goes directly to the efforts over there.
Yeah, I think that's great for people that are listening to know. This episode will come out probably first week of September, so we're taping it in August before the end of the campaign, but I'm sure you can still donate and to Food Bank, of course, and to Amber Howland's campaign through her website if you're interested in, and like she said, it goes directly to the food bank too.
Right. So the campaign will stay open for an extra week in September, and then you can always donate directly to the food bank right on their website. It goes right to their PayPal account, so you know that your money is going in the right spot.
So like you were talking about earlier, in the beginning, you've never done this before, and yet you had this ambition and you wanted to give back. So what kept you going? What was that thing that stuck in your mind to give you that positive mindset to keep going throughout this whole month?
Sure. So a lot of the conversations I had with business owners really fueled every day. So I would be asked impossible questions I didn't have the answers to, like, why are you doing this? The guys at Cafe Kubal, that was the first question they asked me on the phone. And I was like, I don't have an answer for you, but do you want to still be a sponsor? And so a lot of my motivation and what kept me going were those conversations with business owners. Some of them were really hopeful and joyful and exciting, and some of them were not. Some of them were kind of sad, and to the point that they're like, we don't want to get involved because we don't know if we're going to make it. And that's when you're kind of saying, all right, well, how else can I help you?
Yeah.
I will buy all of the pastries, I will do whatever I can do. And so you kind of feel helpless in that, but knowing that you're helping, a connection. So we were talking about connections before,
Right.
and if they can connect and we can see the greater good in this, all kind of make a huge turn and turn the corner. I'm hoping that, those businesses that maybe struggled in the beginning can find, the light at the end of the tunnel.
And if you follow Amber on Instagram, you'll see all the different places she goes. Like every day you are here, you're at one part of Central New York one day, another part of Central New York the other day. You're running around all the time. So It's amazing. What is your daily routine to get yourself into that right frame of mind and keeping active?
Yeah, so I'd set the alarm clock. The alarm clock is number one. That was the first thing I had to learn, was really love the alarm clock. And so I work from home. I'm still employed during all of this, and I work from home. So my schedule is a little bit more flexible than most, but get up early and hit the road early, because you never know what your day's gonna turn into. So, and that's really something that I stick to. I always made the joke in the beginning that if I was not sitting down, eating, drinking water, or sleeping, I needed to be doing one of those 4 things, because there was no way I was going to make it to 108 days running 6 miles a day if I wasn't doing those. So nutrition's really important. It's amazing how much pizza I'll eat, drinking lots of water, and getting sleep, and just listening to your body, because I, of course, being somewhat of a perfectionist, was saying, I'm going to run 6 miles every day. I'm not going to let anyone down. I'm going to stick to what I said. And I think it was like 6 weeks in, I hit like a mental, physical wall. And I said, I need to take a break. And I went, so every day I do a video, and I said, I'll be honest, I need a break today. So I'm not sponsoring. No one was sponsored today. I'm going to take my break, and I'm going to hit the road the next day. And I'm so happy that I did that. Yeah. So just knowing your body, knowing yourself, and taking care of yourself and getting sleep was the most important things, and really my focus for the last 100 days.
That's really important advice, to just know when you need to take a rest, and then that way the next day you'll be back being more productive than ever, right?
Yeah, and that's in anything, right? So you in order to be better the next day, if you need to take a moment to reflect, take it, because your body will thank you for it.
Yeah, true. Now, what can others do to help you and get involved in your efforts? I know, of course, donating is one way, but have you had other people running with you? What's some plans also for the future in regards to this?
Sure. So in the beginning, it was kind of a slippery slope on running and being outside and being 6 feet apart, and should I be wearing a mask and things like that. So in the beginning, I really set out as a lone wolf and did it myself. And really, it was really therapeutic because I had a hard quarantine. So, and I'm pretty public about that. So I took that time for myself. I listened to all the Beyonce playlists and all the podcasts and just tried to figure myself out a little.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, I got in with a couple groups of friends, and my sister would come join, from time to time and just run around town because that's really what we're doing. And so it became more of a community thing, and it's same with the One New York Virtual Challenge. They have a great Facebook group that had 5,000 people in it, kind of talking about their journey and supporting each other. So you had this community keeping you honest and keep getting you out of bed every day. So it was really nice kind of how that evolved as the summer evolved as well.
Do you think that you're going to make this an annual thing? What do you have any plans in the works, thoughts about what you want to do in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I have a million little ideas that float in my brain every day, especially when I'm running and all I have is my brain.
Yeah.
There is something coming in the fall. I don't have all the details, so there's not going to be a big announcement here, but there is another challenge coming in the fall that will take up the fall into around Christmas time. It's amazing what happens when you come up with an idea and you put it out there and you think everyone's going to hate this. This isn't going to go anywhere. And then it becomes a movement. So someone in Rochester reached out to me and said, we want to do this in Rochester. How do we start it? And so I've been working with them. There's another group in Ithaca that's doing the same thing. So if we can get this to be a regional thing, it doesn't have to be necessarily one or another charity. We could help hundreds of charities. That would be awesome. So that's kind of where I'm trying to think of all the efforts and the organization of this entire campaign and how it panned out, how to make it so it's digestible by other groups in other regions of the state.
Oh, this is so exciting. It's just starting this movement, and it'll be interesting to look back on this episode a year from now and see what has happened. So to be continued, right? My last question for you, I love ending with this, is how do you define success?
I love that question as well. Such a great question. I define success as, did you complete what you set out to do? Now, that could be something very small. So when I started this, I said on the phone to a friend, well, maybe we'll raise $400. And that's going to be, because people asked me what my monetary goal was, and I didn't have one because I had no idea what was actually going to happen. I set out with a goal to showcase small businesses and raise money for the food bank. What happened on top of that is icing on the cake, on top of the cake, and I would have never dreamt on day one that I'd be having this conversation.
Yeah.
So I measure success as giving myself a little bit of grace and saying, did you do what you said you would do? Yes, it's successful. Everything else is awesome. So I think we can be hard on ourselves, and I'm hard on myself every single day about little tiny details about the campaign that I want to redo or fix or make sure we're better the next day.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the goal was to raise money for the food bank and bring together the community in a hard time. And I think leaps and bounds. It did
definitely. I definitely think you did that. That is so great. Well, congratulations on almost ending the month. Of course, when you guys see this, the month will be ended, but raising over $10,000, that's amazing. And it goes to such a good charity. Food Bank of Central New York helps so many people throughout our region. And so thank you for the work that you've done to highlight local businesses, highlight a really important charity that helps others, and all while having fun while running.
Yeah, you never know. The skill that you can use can really change a community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you guys for viewing. And Voices for Impact is on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Apple and iHeartRadio podcasts. So Please follow and subscribe, listen on the go, and I will see you next time on Voices for Impact. Bye.